True confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself with loud words or forced gestures. It isn't in the crushing handshake or the fake smile. It's the calm of someone who feels no need to impress. Even when all eyes turn to him, he doesn't rush to react. His stillness speaks for him, showing strength that can't be moved. Those who truly hold power do not scatter their attention like loose coins in the street. They know it is the rarest currency. Every flash of temper, every visible strain, every word spoken in haste is a small fortune given away. So they keep it. They are not in the business of chasing. They do not explain themselves to those who have not earned the explanation. They make the world work for their glance, their words, their time. This is not lethargy. It is a precise weapon forged to say, without speaking, that nothing and no one can unseat them from their center. Such composure drives adversaries into frustration. It draws allies into its orbit. It makes the reckless burn through their strength while you do not even rise from your chair. The philosophers of power knew this well. Strength so controlled does not need to roar. Its silence is its dominance. Once you master it, challenges diminish. People stop trying to test you. They stop seeing you as a competitor and start treating you as a fixed mountain in the landscape. This calm is not mere peace. It is distance from the emotional storms that carry others away. Most people live in reaction, bound to answer every slight, every challenge, every seduction. They fear the emptiness of silence, but the one who is nonchalant refuses to play that game. They deny the world its easy rhythms. They stand outside the arena, observing the fighters with the quiet of a predator that does not need to pounce yet. Those who rage and flail are open books. They can be read, mapped, predicted. But the figure who betrays nothing becomes a problem the mind cannot solve. And uncertainty is fear in its purest form. History's rulers have always known this truth. When the kingdom is burning or blooming, appear unchanged. The mere illusion of stability bends the perception of reality. If they believe you are immovable, they will treat you as such. In this way, nonchalance turns your very presence into a strike. You can win without lifting a hand because your absence of reaction becomes the loudest action in the room. Minds begin to whisper their own doubts, crafting images of what you might be planning, of power you might possess. And human beings loathe the unknown. When you give them no answers, they fill the void with their own unease, imagining that you are sharper, more cunning, more dangerous than the truth might warrant. It is why the great negotiators, the great leaders, the silent tacticians of history all share this quality. The one who holds their composure longest bends the other into action, and action under pressure is almost always a misstep. In a world of bait and provocation, of words thrown like stones, the nonchalant man is immune. He lets the bait hang untouched until the trap collapses under its own weight. But make no mistake, this stillness is not weakness disguised. Laziness is the decay of will. Nonchalance is its discipline. It is not the refusal to act. It is the mastery of when to act. For in the arena of power, the impatient are swallowed by the still by the patient, and the patient by the one who elevates patience into art. It holds true everywhere. In commerce, the hand that hesitates to sign often receives the richest deal. In love, the one who can walk away without a tremor shapes the terms of the bond. In politics, the leader who remains calm when the air stinks of crisis earns the loyalty of those who fear the storm, because this posture flips the board. The nonchalant man is not chasing position. He is the position. Others move for his attention, for his blessing, for a place in his space. And the moment they do, he becomes the keeper of the pace, the author of when and how events will unfold. This is more than armor. It is a blade disguised as indifference. To grasp its full power, you must slip into the minds of those who witness it. It unsettles because it robs them of the feedback they crave. The angry wish to see you cowed. The proud wish to see you impressed. The provoker wishes to see you flare. And when you give none of it, you place them in a purgatory of uncertainty. They think harder, they miscalculate, and in overthinking, they carve their own ruin. Even those who despise you cannot help but respect the steadiness. The mind equates composure with competence. If you do not flinch in the fire, you must know something others do not. Whether this is true does not matter. Perception will do the work for you, drawing others into your orbit as if gravity had chosen you. For those who deal in manipulation, your stillness is sabotage. They depend on your part in the dance. They expect your reaction, your defense, your tell. Deny it, and you break the rhythm. They grow sloppy. They reveal the edges of their strategy, and mystery blooms. Because the human mind cannot leave a blank page alone. It must scribble on it. In those scribbles, they imagine you deeper, sharper, harder to challenge than perhaps you are. Your calm is leverage. In heated moments where others expect escalation, you offer none. And that forces them to look inward, to second-guess the shape of the battlefield. Your composure is a mirror in which they see only their own instability. In any group, the one whose pulse is steady, while others' race begins to dictate the unspoken hierarchy. This is why empires have always cherished the mask of calm, because the one least touched by emotion seems most worthy to lead. Each encounter in which you do not break builds a legend around you. Fewer will test you. More will seek your favor. You will stop being a piece in the game and become the table it is played on. But the deeper truth is this: the greatest transformation happens not in how they see you, but in how you begin to see yourself. When you learn to hold steady in the middle of chaos, you no longer live as a slave to the world's tempo. You stop letting urgency yank you by the collar. The noise of the crowd no longer dictates your rhythm. And in an age where every mind is addicted to speed, the mind that refuses to rush becomes dangerous. It moves like a shadow, unprovoked, deliberate, impossible to herd. This is not a talent you are born with. It is a craft that must be carved and shaped. The untrained only imitate calm, wearing it like a borrowed cloak. But the trained live inside it because they have taken dominion over their own reactions. And that mastery begins with a rebellion against urgency. Most people respond instantly to every ring, every message, every demand, as if each were a bell they are chained to. The one who is truly nonchalant breaks the chain. He does not march to the world's drumbeat. He composes his own. The discipline begins in small acts. You delay your reply. You allow the silence to breathe. You pause before each reaction until it becomes instinct. And something strange happens. Those around you begin to adjust their pace to yours. Without knowing it, they fall into your rhythm, and your rhythm becomes the only one that matters in the room. Then comes the mastery of the face. Most leak emotion without realizing: the twitch of an eyebrow, the tightening of a jaw, the flash of the eyes. These betray the inner state before a single word escapes. To ascend beyond this, you train yourself to let discomfort pass across your mind without touching your features. Imagine the insult landing. Imagine the heat rising in your chest. Yet the face remains as still as stone carved long before the insult was born. This is emotional opacity. It is the refusal to allow the world to read your script. But stillness is not lifelessness. The nonchalant are not statues. They move, but each movement is measured. They speak, but their words arrive with the weight of someone who has all the time in the world. Silence is their companion, not their enemy. When they do speak, the pause before their voice creates a tension that others rush to fill. When they act, it is not in haste, but with the precision of someone who knows the timing of the strike is as important as the strike itself. Scarcity deepens the effect. Be too present, and the aura dissolves. Constant availability invites familiarity, and familiarity strips away mystery. So you withdraw, not with the sulk of the wounded, but with the ease of someone who is already full. You leave gatherings early without explanation. You respond with brief words, where others would empty themselves in speech. This quiet absence amplifies your presence when you do return. People begin to value each moment with you, as if it were rare gold. The real crucible of nonchalance is loss. Anyone can be calm when victory crowns them, but when the blow lands, when the plan collapses, when the opportunity is stolen, that is where the test begins. Most will howl or shrink. You will do neither. You will receive the defeat with the same posture you would greet a triumph. The sting may burn beneath the surface, but the world will not see the mark. Behind closed doors, you may sharpen your counterstroke. In the open, your face remains unbroken marble. Speech must also be tamed. Too many words give the world a map to your mind. Brevity forces others to imagine the rest, and in imagination, they grant you depths you may or may not possess. Your voice should carry neither strain nor rush, but the cadence of someone who speaks only when the moment calls for it. Those listening will find themselves leaning forward without realizing why. The secret heart of all this is not detachment from the world, but selective attachment. You are not a ghost who cares for nothing. You are a strategist who refuses to spend energy where it cannot grow into influence. The powerful know that attention is gold. They spend it only where it will return with interest, never scattering it into the gutters of provocation or empty spectacle. And when you have trained yourself to this point, the change is unmistakable. People speak differently in your presence. They measure their words, sometimes even slow their breath. They hesitate before they make demands. They begin to sense, without being able to name it, that they are standing in the company of someone who cannot be pushed or pulled like the rest. The shift is quiet, but total. Nonchalance is no longer an act. It is a condition of being. You are no longer pretending to be untouchable. You have become untouchable. The chaos of the week no longer draws you into its frantic current. Instead, it is forced to swirl around you while you remain anchored in your own chosen pace. When sharpened, nonchalance becomes more than a shield. It becomes a blade so subtle it cuts without being seen. It can disarm those who oppose you, lure those who admire you, and even seduce those who wish to outplay you into revealing their hand too soon. For human beings are creatures of response. They seek cues, signals, reactions. Remove those cues, and they lose their footing. In the theaters of politics, war, and business, it is not the loudest who are most dangerous. It is the ones who can stand in the storm without a flicker of alarm. They force others to question themselves. Why is he not worried? What does he know that I do not? This doubt is not weakness. It is a seed that grows into caution, and caution hands you control. Perception shapes reality. A leader who radiates desperation invites manipulation. A negotiator who flinches invites lesser offers. A man who visibly hungers for approval places his power in another's hands. But the one who stays serene under strain tells the room a different story. I decide when this ends. I decide where this goes. The masters of presence, those statesmen, those quiet tacticians, fought not always with words or weapons, but with stillness. When their rivals struck wildly, they watched. When rumors swirled, they neither confirmed nor denied, allowing the doubt to swell like a tide. This was not passivity. It was the tightening of a rope while the other man still thought it slack. You can wield this same art in your everyday battles. When provoked, you give no mirror for their anger. When pressed for an answer, you give none until you choose the moment. Your silence forces others to spend their energy in guessing, and in their guessing, they will reveal more of themselves than they ever intended. And in the realm of attraction, the principle is the same. People are drawn not to what they can hold entirely, but to what remains just beyond their reach. If you are always eager, you are already owned. But if you remain just enough apart, you become a riddle worth chasing.